Welcome to the Let's Get Ready to Talk Schmoedown podcast. Introducing your hosts, Justin Hamilton, Fares Muthana, Bidor. Now, let's get ready to talk Schmoedown.
Go ahead, everybody. Fares had to walk away real quick right at the very beginning. Sign. Let me go ahead and knock him out till he gets ready. But yeah, man, we got the matches today. One of the cool things is, like, you know, usually we have so many matches to cover. Sometimes we don't even get to cover all of them. But today we're going to be able to cover all of them because it's just a non-pay-per-view week. Non-pay-per-view. It's a week for us to breathe a little bit. Still got 3 matches to talk about, but you know, it is a week for us not to be so hardcore, as to say. So many matches put on the table, plus a pay-per-view that we had just watched. How you feeling today, Danny?
Feeling great, Mr. Hamilton. How about you?
I'm doing pretty good. My beard's in place, about like your hair's in place, man. You got that like thing going on where the strands are going across your forehead. No, on purpose.
I need to fucking like cut my hair, you know. Look how the bangs like. Remember you called me like an emo singer or something like that, you MF?
Mm-hmm. Sure did. You do look like an emo singer. But man, let's get into it. Fares will be here in a second, and then later on we'll probably get it. Probably gonna have some salsa action happening a little bit later. So we'll start with like today's match. I do want to call this week. This week to me is intensity week. And the reason why I say that, the reason why I came up with that, like sort of a nickname for this week being the intensity week, is like 2 of the matches this week was with very intense characters. You had both the Chance match today and then the Saul match earlier in the week. Both of them guys are very intense about the Schmoedown. You know, they come in very serious, no games being played, straight to the point, saying what they want to say, doing what they want to do, and all that stuff. So like, and here comes Fares, he's back. But like, the thing is that's what I'm saying though, is like, that's why I kind of look at this as intensity week, because these 2 players, they played against these people that are not as intense. You know, like they played against players that, you know, one of them, talking about Greg Alba, for instance, he acts like, you know, hey, never prepares and all this stuff. And then you got Lon, who's the delinquent character, who acts like he may not even show up, right? So like that was kind of like a cool thing for this week, almost like a theme for this week.
That's going to be a great topic of discussion later this episode. But here's the thing, Justin. Here's the thing. For me, Lon Harris suffers with dual personality. There is the delinquent, there is the professor. When the delinquent first appeared on the Schmoedown like last year, people thought, oh, that's the character that's going to make Lon Harris be the greatest player of all time and things like that. 1.5 years later, I don't think it's paying out anymore. I think Lon Harris needs the professor back.
We're talking Harris? We're talking Lon Harris right now?
Yeah, so...
Yeah, man, dude.
Go ahead.
I want see, here's the thing, man. Lon Harris breaks my brain because of this one moment. Because he looks, one moment, he's out here beating Drew McQueenie, out here knocking out Sabina Graves, you know what I mean?
Going toe-to-toe, I guess, Ethan Irwin, remember that?
Going toe-to-toe with Ethan Irwin. He's playing very good in his team's matches. And then, boom, one day, he misses 6 questions in the first round. And you're like, whoa, what just happened?
Dual personality, guys. There is Dr. Harris and Mr. Long.
Hey, that's an interesting thing, though, that I kind of want to put out there, because kind of what you were speaking about, Danny. Like, we'll just go around the horn here. When it comes to Lon's character, you had the professor and then you had this delinquent character. I know the delinquent character's done some things that's made us laugh and everything else. But overall, like, which character do y'all wish he was at this moment, right? Do you wish he just keeps doing the delinquent, or would you want to retroactively go back and like him start being the professor again?
I prefer the delinquent over the professor, because I never gave a damn about the professor. The professor was annoying, which is correct. He was a heel. He's annoying. I didn't like him.
He's supposed to be annoying.
He's supposed to be annoying. But me,
Mhm.
I didn't like watching him. I didn't like watching him. The delinquent, I prefer watching the delinquent play. Like,
You thought it was more entertaining.
Yeah,
Fares.
no, and yeah, it's more entertaining. Also, too, if he does turn heel, he can still be the delinquent. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Right.
Like you can't be a faced professor because who they have, like, no one likes smarmy, highfalutin, full
You
of
can be the
themselves.
cool teacher.
Nah,
Everybody got a cool teacher in their lives.
But like even
you
your
guys
cool,
never had a cool
yeah,
teacher in your lives?
but no, but hold on, Danny. But even the cool teachers were just cool because the other teachers were so crap,
yeah.
right? You know what I'm saying? Like cool
that's a fair
teacher
point.
compared to cool people is still like a big bridge to gap there. So I kind of get where Fares is coming from. Like with this delinquent character, he could switch back and forth on a dime. And I kind of agree with y'all. I like the delinquent character more overall. Like people in the chat can say who they like the best, either professor or the delinquent. But we all seem to agree that the delinquent's a better character. And I'm going to be honest with you. I think the professor should be saved. Let's say there's an opportunity for him, like he doesn't really want to play that much and he wants to be like a new manager of a faction. I think the professor would be a really cool manager. Like he's the professor and he's like trying to like school up his faction. You know what I'm saying? Like that would be yeah, exactly. But they would be kind of like a really cool dichotomy between him and his players, like him being the professor and trying to like school them up to be better at the movie trivia. So I think that would be kind of cool later on. But yeah, but I think we all agree the delinquent is the better.
No, he's funnier. I think there's no doubt about that. But here's the thing. First, I think it's a very good point, Justin, because that was kind of the storyline back then. Remember? Like he beat Chris Hall. No, not Chris Hall. Cody Hall. Shout out to Chris Hall, by the way. But he beat Cody Hall. He beat Cody. And then he tried to beat against Christian Huvacalva. But that match never happened. But he was supposed to like to create like a school. Like every single opponent that he beat, he like brings to the group. That was supposed to be a storyline. Do you remember that? But then they made.
I remember that. Yeah, they never really made that.
Yeah, they never went through.
Yeah, it kind of fell flat.
Anyway, my point is, Justin, is that for me, characters in the Schmoedown, they are not just for entertainment value. Yes, I think they have to be entertained in their own way. But I also think that characters should push for the performances.
I got you. Yeah, I totally understand that, but I do want to throw this up there before it disappears and I forget about it. Thomas Harper's in the chat right now, who we had on last week. I'm honestly happy with this match result. It means there'll be that much more pressure on Laura Kelly to win and earn swag points. Now, that actually is a pretty interesting thing, like, right, with this loss against Chance, which we'll talk about the match a little bit more here, but I kind of jumping the gun here, but I want to say, like, this loss for Lon against Chance does kind of put swag in this position of where maybe they're not having to hit the panic button quite yet. They still have a little bit of time to try to gain some ground, and they have these opportunities to make up some big time points because they have chances for championship belts coming up. But now they're almost putting in that position of where their people trying to win the belts almost have to win the belts, man. What do y'all think about that?
Swag, yeah. Oh, my bad, Danny. You go, Marvin.
No, I said too much, Fares. You barely just got here. You go first.
No, my thing is this, like, they're right now, like, I wouldn't panic. But if they don't win one of those titles, you know, like they need to win one of those titles. The best case scenario they have is Chandru beats Mike, Laura beats Andrew, and that's 7 points each, 14 points. You know what I mean? And I'm trying to find I'm trying to find the faction standings. Let me see. Let me look up.
If you Fares, if you can find to me, because I was trying to find this as well. What was the final standings of last year like? The final, like.
Last year's standings. Last year's. I'll find last year's standings. So.
I want to make an analogy, but going to your point, just is like corruption. I think.
Oh, got it, Danny. I got it. Last year, Swag was second with 60 points behind corruption.
And who was like the second to last? Not the last one, the second to last.
Second to last was the Dungeon at 22 points.
I think the Swag is having a lot of similar path that happened with the Dungeon last year. Started with some key players, a lot of expectations on put on them, and they are not holding up to that. You can say that the dungeon invests too much on IG because of Parker, and then you have Smeds, of course. But like, even though I do think that the roster of Swag right now is better than the dungeons last year, I think what a lot of these teams are suffering is that they are relying too much on key players, and the other players, like rookies or even like sophomores that had a few matches last year, they are not holding up for what the faction is. Mm-hmm. That's the biggest difference between the exchange this year and last year. Like 6 months ago, we all here saying, "Oh, I don't know, that bet that Tom Dagnini is making is not a good bet. Maybe everything's going to fall apart." Look where they're standing right now. The rookies are doing as good as their key players. Of course, Roka, JTE got some matches on the teams as well, and etc. But like a lot of those points right there are because of their rookies, of people that are not like key players in their rosters.
I agree. One of the things that I'll bring up is like, I know that like when we bring up, should they hit a panic button or not, or do they have must wins? Like, and people's going to throw in like, oh man, the season still got a lot of stuff. But I'm going to tell you, it seems like yesterday we were talking about it being a third of the season, and now we're at the halfway point, guys. Like
I just did the math, Justin. I just did the math. If Swag wins those 2 titles, if they win the IG and Star Wars, they both get 7 points, which is 14 points. They're only going to be tied for 5th.
Yeah, even with them wins,
they don't really move.
So like
my point usually.
Yeah, I agree, Fares. And the thing is like this. Like, when do we start changing that narrative of talk that there's a lot of season left? Because like I said, I understood it when we were only a third of the season through, but we're halfway through the season, right? Like the time keeps like ticking, and you get less and less time to try to make a comeback. And the dungeons put themselves in such a like high, echelon spot up there where they have scored all these points because of like
Jonathan Harris and Eric Zipper had a teams match. They had a teams match.
Yeah, but like with that being said, though, I think the thing's going to have to start changing to where we can't just keep saying, "Oh, there's a lot of season left," because eventually there's not going to be any.
There's not going to be enough season. Yeah,
exactly. So
yeah,
I think one of the things, and maybe this is my interpretation. You guys can say, "Oh, Danny, you're being an idiot."
Andrew, you need to specify that. Then specify that.
Look, here's my opinion. And using that base of what corruption did last year, you can't use Star Wars as one of the key battlegrounds for you to win the faction war. You can say that right now the 3 key players of Swag is Oyama, which is a great singles player and teams player, Chandru, which proved that he was a former champion, he defended. Now he's going to against the belt again, and Laura. You can't depend too much on Star Wars. Corruption won the faction war without having to. Yeah, they had Laura, but Laura didn't go very too up in the tournament. They didn't have too much to do that, but they won in the teams. They won especially in singles. They have great IG players. I think that's one of the key strategies that you have to look into it when you have your key players.
Yeah. Here's the thing. Let me say something. Like, there's a shot, because I'm looking at the matches played, and this is like a you win, you get more matches type thing. And I see these matches. Swag has the least amount of matches played. They're at 13, and the most is 21 with the Finstock in the dungeon. I'm just saying, man, Swag needs those 2 belts, and they need Oyama to go through a singles tournament or one of their singles players, because there's still a lot of people on Swag that haven't really played. If you think about it, let's see. Let me tell you who the people from Swag who've played: Bradley Tingle, Laura Kelly, Oyama Lawn, Chandru, Eric Zipper, and Jonathan Harris in their teams match. They still have like Jen Kemp, Haley Fouch, like those people.
Wow, that's right.
They still have a lot of people who can play. And the people I named are still going to get more matches when we get into like, is a 16-person singles tournament? They can make up ground. But here's the thing. They can make up ground, but they also need people to lose. You know what I mean? Like, they can make up their ground, but if the Dungeon and Finstock and Corruption keep winning, it's literally like, you're going up, but they're also going up. So like you're just gonna keep climbing. Then at the end of the season, it gets to the point where you've climbed up, but they're just above you a little.
Yeah, and that's a very key thing, I think, for the rest of the year going on, is especially when certain factions. This is why I love the factions. I know Christian had said something about changing a lot of things. I hope he doesn't go completely away from the faction kind of thing, because we have factions, a lot of these matches that, for whatever reason, may not be as big or key, turn out to be big and key, Fares, because what you just said, right? So we have a team like, say, the Den or like Swag or somebody like that that's closer to the bottom trying to move their way up. They can somewhat control their own destiny. Every time they play Finstock, every time they play the Dungeon, if they can come up with victories and stop them from earning points and they gain points, it's like instead of like a 2 or 3 point swing, that could become like a 4 or 6 point swing, right? Even in the championship style matches, if you got a player that goes up and tries to get a belt, and you're up against Finstock, who could have won 7 points, you stop them from getting the 7 points, and you earn the 7 points. Like, that's a 14-point swing.
I also want to point something out, guys. How like champions really help your team. The Quirky Mercs are fourth at 7 and 10.
Yeah, not a good record at all.
The Den has technically, the Den is 9 and 7. They technically, percentage wise, have a better record than the Quirky Mercs. But Andrew DiMolanta and Shazam are the reason the Mercs are slightly above them. You know what I mean? They're only 2 points above them, too. You know what I mean? Just 2 points.
And with you bringing that up, I kind of think that one of the changes that does need to happen going into next season, I don't think it needs to be drastic. I think they went to a drastic way to make belts so important, and that is very good for the league. I think the belts being the most important thing.
And I like it.
But I think they might need to drop
very important.
Right. Yeah, I think the belt points may need to come down a little bit. What do y'all think? Like maybe go down to 6 or 5 just to kind of bridge that gap a little bit?
It's tricky.
Because here's the thing. Star Wars matches are already 3, and Intergeekdom matches are already 3. So if you just do a 5, you just give them 2 extra points. You know what I mean? Here's the thing, Justin. If Quirky Mercs, they may have those 2 champions, but they need the other team, other players to step up, because trust me, all the Den needs to win is like 2 singles matches, and they're in 4th place. Like the titles are important, but you need your other players who are non-champions to also win. You know what I mean? Like here's the thing with the Den. No, here's the thing with the Dungeon. Merle won. Mara won. They won their title matches. The matches, like their title matches. But here's the thing. Like Parker was in the champion and he won his matches. Danger Zone won their matches. You know what I mean? Like the people who had the title matches won the title matches and got the belts, which is good. But also the people who weren't champions won their matches. John Hoey won his match. Like I said, Parker won his match. Matches. Danger Zone won their matches. See what I mean? Like you have your champions, but if all your other players keep losing, you're not really gonna make. You're like, you have your 2 champions, but if everyone else keeps losing, then you're gonna get leapfrogged.
Exactly. You cannot only rely on key players. Like the other, the rest of the roster is as much as
Video Drew won her match. Thank you, Brian. Video Drew, shout out to Video Drew.
Yes.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
But we kind of danced around this match, but is there any kind of key points you want to point out? Like I've already kind of pointed out one of my things is I kind of started thinking about this week as a whole, and it's Intensity Week. Yeah. And with Intensity Week, with these 2 intense players playing these more laid back players, in this match, that's what I saw. I saw a laid back player going against Chance, who I've said for a long time, best pound for pound player in the league. He came in there and busted his stuff and did his thing, right? Like so. Yeah. I really that's really what I caught up in this match is like this week seems to show the people that are intense, the people that are in this the most are coming out this year and playing the game so far, and they're actually coming out with victories.
I think this match says about one thing. Lon Harris is Lon Harris. It is what it is. I've accepted him from who he is, and I
Accepted
accepted him for who he is. I love Lon. I've accepted him for who he is. This match was more about Chance. You know what I mean? Chance, like he tends to like lose those matches.
Well, I wouldn't say that he has.
No. It's like he lost to
Bad.
Bibbs. He lost to Bibbs. He lost to Lishan and Miller. He had a tough match against David Del Rio. You know what I mean? This was more about Chance.
He's not as
Cementing
dominant
himself.
like he's on teams. That's for sure. But look, one of the things that I am kind of excited for is that what they
that's what
said
I
in the
think.
post match is that maybe the Chance next opponent is going to be Snyder.
Yeah,
I dig it.
I think that's
I-
actually a pretty good match.
I dig it.
Yeah.
I dig it, man.
I'm pretty hyped up about
I don't
that
think
match.
they ever cross each other. And look, a path to the title that has Brandon Meyer, Lon Harris, and Jeff Snyder is a good path, man, to
That's
overcome
good.
that.
Mm-hmm. No, I mean, I totally agree. I'm kind of pumped up that they said something about that match because I think that's actually a good progression, right? Because if he plays Snyder, who just tried to like get his shot of the belt or whatever,
Mhm.
like that means like, and Chance pulls out a victory there, then he's got to be right there close to at least earning a spot to get a number one contenders match against someone.
Yeah,
which
they're
I would
not going to
assume-
make him go against Adam Collins.
I assume the next number one contenders thing, whatever they choose to do, whether it be like a little mini tournament like they like to do or whatever, has to include Adam Collins because he was
Oh,
kind of
yeah.
left out of this little setup. He's got to be in the next group. I mean, the dude's like done his thing and got beat by Dan Murrell for God's sakes. He's gotten beat, but that's how it is. And Dan Murrell's the greatest of all time. I mean, there's a reason why they call him that.
Yeah, I think we've said a lot about this match. I just want to put a bow on this. That's really weird. Seeing Chance's singles record at 5-4 just blows my mind.
It's
Like
very
Chance.
weird.
Yeah, it's very weird.
It is.
But here's the thing:
It
he
is,
only
but he
plays
plays good.
top. Yeah, he only plays top echelon people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like he plays
He
the
beat
even
his
at
established-
Alba-
singles
career.
career against Bibbs.
Yeah.
But even when he was a
Exactly.
rookie, right? Like he was coming into the league brand new, he still had to play these like top-notch players. That's what's different from say if he would have came in this year. What would Chance would have been able to do if he would have came in like a year like this, where it seems like all the rookies are playing each other? Like he could have got on a streak from the very beginning and whatnot. But like when he came into the league, you had to play some of the best players off the bat. They didn't necessarily put the rookies against the rookies. And I see why they did it this year. There were so many rookies. They wanted us to be able to see and showcase all these rookies so that we would become possible fans of them and everything else. So like I see and understand why they went the route they went. You want to jump on and we obviously
speaking of rookies, we had a match with two of the newer rookies.
Yeah.
Downtown Griffey Nooms and Jacoby the deal breaker Bancroft. It's two very highly touted, highly hyped rookies. Jacoby, one of the Fan League 4, and Griffey Nooms, from Blank Check Podcast. Like I want to point something. I'm gonna make it a mission about Griffey Nooms.
Mhm.
On this podcast, draft night, I said the famous phrase, "Who the hell is Griffin Newman?" That's what I said. I said, "Who the hell is Griffin Newman? Like, who is this man?" Guess what? Now I know who this man is. This man is like, this is me. I'm Griffey Nooms, homie. You best recognize. And I recognize. I would like to apologize to Griffin for not ignorance, because it wasn't really ignorance. I actually didn't know who the hell he was. But now I know. And out of all the rookies that were hyped, Griffin kind of like went underneath the radar. You know what I mean?
Right.
Because he was Gucci's first round pick, but the first round was like it's Griffey. Yeah, I know it's Griffey, Jeremy. Like, but he got overshadowed by Amaru Moses at number 2 and Thomas Harper at 3. And then when Gucci drafted him, everyone's like, oh, whatever, Griffin Newman. But Griffin Newman could hold a belt by the end of this year, maybe. I'm just saying.
Listen, I'm going to tell
saying.
you, like, I'm glad you brought that up and started talking about that part of this, right? Like, because Griffey Nooms comes out with a
Griffey
victory in this
Nooms.
match. But Griffey Nooms, man, like,
Griffey Nooms.
look, write down this dude's name, because this is a guy, exactly what Fares said. Almost everybody on this podcast didn't really know a lot about this dude. We didn't know a lot about him, so we didn't know if he was going to be good or not. And we didn't know what kind of personality he was going to bring to the table and all this stuff. But this guy, to me, is not only came in and showcased some, like, very good movie trivia skills. I like his character. I love watching him. He's funny. Like, I'll have a good time watching him when he's on screen. So he's not only showcasing movie trivia talent, but like whatever he is, even if that's just his self, like his self is just a very charismatic style person or whatever, and I enjoy watching him on the screen. He's probably one of the biggest, like to me right now, if I had to say, and it's tough because you got like what Thomas Harper's doing in the Star Wars division as a rookie technically and stuff like that, but like especially like in the singles division, like rookies and singles, like he would be my like rookie of the year because I love everything about this cat, everything he's bringing to the table. Yeah. He like, and the funny part is, but listen, Fares, like this is the thing. Going into the draft, everybody was all about like the Frankie Alvarez's of the world. And I'm not saying that guy's bad or anything, but everybody talked about him. Everybody talked about Brother Loomis because of his character and everything else, which, you know, his character's fine and whatnot. But like people were talking about people like that a lot.
His own teammates.
Even the Rager. Even the Rager.
His teammates overshadowed him. Rager, Loomis, Ty Lieberman. Like
all these people,
King Khan, like people were like when Gucci drafted King Khan, people were talking about King Khan because everyone was like, because Harloff was so confused. He was like, "Who the hell is this man?" And we were all confused. So we were like, "Who's King Khan?" So his own teammates overshadowed.
Everybody was confused. Man.
No, I agree. Like he came in, and to me, he's like risen above all that. All these people, like I saw him today. Not one time did I think about any of those competitors I just named because I was just very, you know, sitting there entranced and like very engaged. Danny's favorite word, engaged in the match because like he was involved, right? Like he's one of those players that I could have fun watching even if the match wasn't good. Now today's match was pretty good.
You can call him Ton, he's dead.
but
that was hilarious. He was like, he calls me. I think he's more like my dad. He checks up on
father
me.
figure.
That's hilarious, man. That's like because he gets the performance aspect of it. You know, when Griffin Newman, no. Thomas Harper's probably gonna win Rookie of the Year if he wins the belt. Honestly, let's be real here. But like Griffin, like let's not like you can make cases for the other rookies. But here's the thing. Like he gets the performances. I found out like later on. I found out he was Arthur Everest from The Tick. I watched The Tick on Amazon Prime. I love The Tick. I'm sad that it was canceled, but it is what it is. So I found out he was that guy, and he gets the performance. He's an actual like a professional actor who gets the performance of it, just like Mike. You know, he gets the performance of it. Like Andrew Guy, they get the performance of it. And like what I love about it is like he knows to give us a performance, but he also knows to go perfect in the first round as well.
I totally agree, man. Like you can tell that, like, for instance, I didn't know, you just said something to me that I didn't know that much about, you know, Griffey Nooms. I think I have heard it now. We're trying to remember it, but like I'd already forgot about it. But that guy, that it comes out. Like he's over here doing these jokes and stuff about like how he's been in COVID, so he was talking about how he hasn't had sex in like months. Many.
Like
it's a funny joke, dude, because like a lot of people's been stuck in that situation where you couldn't go out and meet people and stuff, dude. Like, and he's bringing it out and he's saying it and joking. Like it's great when you can actually make fun of yourself and be entertaining, but also still clap back at the opponents. And he's able to do all those. And like, I know we're talking about him a lot because like he is one of these.
He stood out in the match. He
stood out. But look, Bancroft is good. That kid's good too.
Yeah, but I am mad at myself, Justin Hampton. I went to message Idelia. I didn't press send, changed my pick to Griff Newman. I picked the guy against everybody here again when he was against Mark Edward Hoyk, which I love. Shout out to Mark Edward Hoyk. You're the homie. But I didn't. I'm mad at myself, Justin. I hate you all. I should have those points.
I chose Jacoby as well.
Bro, and I just want to point out too, man, I love the chat, been active tonight or whatever. But I'm seeing like these people going back and forth in the chat about the Star Wars stuff that's going on. It's almost like we talking. Hey, it's almost like we're talking about The Last Jedi, right? And the chat's popping off. Like, the haters
by the way,
and the people that love it.
By the way, guys, if you didn't check last week, check out our interview with Thomas. I think it was one of our best interviews. It was a very good moment. Thank you, Major, for being there.
Actually, man, we've been kind of hitting the nail on the head when it comes to interviews. I mean, Thomas Harper came on the live show, and he did a very good job on the live show. It turned out to be sort of like an interview segment during the live show last week. But we've also got a John Roca interview that like pops off. He talks about stuff even more in the future, so it ain't just about stuff that he was doing there at the time that we interviewed him. And we just did that sweet interview with Chris Van Fleet. Like that guy, dude. Like I didn't know a lot about that guy. If you don't know a lot about Chris Van Fleet,
Well, nobody
that
knew
character's
about him.
yeah, that character, dude.
Apparently, I knew a
he's
lot
awesome.
about that guy.
Yeah, he's awesome, man. He does a lot of things. He interviews a lot of people. He's got a very cool YouTube channel or whatnot. Like, so that guy, shout out to that dude. Like, he surpassed my expectations, to be honest with you. Like, I found out he had did some interviews.
Shout out to Jay Wade. You know, loving both on screen and off screen content. Shout out to Jay Wade. Shout out to Jay Wade.
Appreciate it, bro. Appreciate it. But yeah, like that dude is pretty.
Even though Jay Wade
awesome,
banned me from his show, it's okay.
A look behind the curtain of the.
He's not the only one, Fares.
Right, but the look.
I'm kidding, Jay Wade. I'm kidding.
The look behind the curtain is me and Fares sat down and interviewed Chris Van Fleet like 10 minutes before we started interviewing him. He interviewed
John Cena.
Yeah, he interviewed John Cena for Fast 9. So that's how cool that cat is, for like him to come on like a smaller show like ours and show us like, you know, the proper respect and stuff. Come on here and do an interview with us. It's like really fun.
I just want to point something out. You know, someone in the chat says, Thomas Harper says, "Where's Saul?"
He's coming. He's on his way.
Yeah. Well, what is the hurry, Mr. Harper?
Yeah, man. You know, look. Hey, Harper, man. Like,
well, technically it is 11. It's 11. It's 11:36.
That is true. Over there, probably where he at. But I'm just gonna tell you, Thomas Harper.
Thomas Harper. Sorry about that, Thomas.
Thomas Harper, you're a grown man with 2 kids. I shouldn't have to explain to you the thing about you can't bust your load early. You gotta you gotta get to that point.
Really, Justin? Really?
I mean, come on, man. Like, I mean, you gotta sit here and talk about. We got other things. We can't just skip over certain things and.
No, but here's the thing, man. You know what stinks about this match?
Thomas, you know your teammate, faction mate, wherever. You know him.
Yeah, you know that guy.
To come on in his own time.
Listen, it takes him like 30 minutes to like get his beard ready. And like Thomas ought to know that.
Here's the thing, man. Here's the thing. Here's the one. My one pet peeve of this match. And I want you guys to correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, say I'm wrong. Griffey Newman was so good. Like, we just overshadowed Jacoby Bancroft and how
which is very good as well.
Who's very good. Also, the Stars, it ain't looking good.
Why did you say that?
They lost both of their belts.
Right.
They lost both the belts. Someone in the chat revealed to me they've lost six matches in a row. They lost 6. They are second last, I believe. No, they are last. They are dead last.
They're tied to last.
Tied.
With the usual.
Tied with the usual suspects, but by record.
But yeah, the usual suspects has more wins.
Yes. Yeah, they have 6. They have 5.
Listen, you know I'm going to tell you.
So.
I'm going to tell you this.
What are they? What they need to get this ship right.
Yeah,
man.
No, I want to say that like with Roxy, this is the tell between like 2 things that are happening, right? Like, for one, we're waiting on him. It's his fault. He stays up late. He stays up late, Thomas. But the thing is with Roxy was last year, right? Like, she almost won Manager of the Year because like she was going through and at least they were competing for one of the top spots in the faction standings and stuff. So when she was pumping up her players and everything, it looked really cool and good, right? When she stood up and did what she did for Jeff and his match, Jeff Snyder, I'm talking about, and she did all that. It looked really super cool. This year, it kind of looks a little different because like she's still doing that. I think she's still doing a good job, but because her people keeps losing, like it just doesn't have the same effect it had last year. It's almost like, okay, you're going through the numbers. Last year, she was doing that, and it seemed like it was pumping up some of her players to like come out and do good. A couple of them made incredible comebacks to win matches. And you were like, oh, shit, man, she's doing super good. Like this year, even though I think she's doing as good of a job on paper, it doesn't look that way. So, like, I don't know if she'll even be considered as like Manager of the Year this year, even though her performances and even though her backing up her players is just as good, I feel, as it was last year.
Look, I don't think Roxy had any backup plan after. Not that Alex was going to lose the belt at some point, but I think nobody expected him to not recover the belt when he had the chance, and nobody expect Enrico to go away. That he did very hard, and unfortunately, the roster can't keep up with the pressure, like with the pressure of having those kind of major losses.
Like in the chat, ASG 1982 points out. Let me point out this comment. Stars got Alex for the Star Wars tournament and Snyder. I keep calling him Schneider. Snyder in the singles and 2 solid teams for the teams tournament for whatever combo they decide. That's true. They could go on a late run where Stars have some insurance. Like they could go on a late run. Like what if Alex smooths past everybody and gets another title shot? 3 points. How many people on this Star Wars tournament? Was it 8? Is it 8 person? 8 person? Is it? No? 8 person? Can someone?
We are both muted.
Nah, but it's. I think if I'm not mistaken, it's 8. Like, because it's 8. If I'm not mistaken, it's going to be
so.
Eight
So how many matches is that? So 1, 2, 4, 6, 8. So 1, 2, 3. So 3 times 3 is 9. Alex can get you 9 points like that.
Yes,
like that.
Like I said,
like that. And Snyder did go on a long run in a tournament like he did last year. So it's possible. It's possible they could go from dead last to like 4th or 5th. It's possible. Like the Stars have options to get out of the gutters. Like to get out of the gutters, you know what I mean? Like they're not in panic mode yet because I feel like some of these teams are going to benefit from tournament runs that we weren't going to expect. That's what I think.
Look, here's the thing. I stand by. I understand what Mr. Harper is saying. Oh, they have insurance, but as of right now, the insurance is not paying back, man. They're at dead last. They have 11 losses. They have the most losses of any other faction. That doesn't mean they don't have time to recover it. But when you are at that position right now, with no looks, that's going to be better.
Do they get a bonus point? Do they get a bonus point for a tournament? They get a bonus point for a tournament win, right?
No, not just a regular tournament win. I think the finals is worth an extra point.
The finals is worth 4.
I think the finals is worth an extra point, and the finals for tournaments are like championship style matches, so they do the 5 rounds. That's why when we had that last pay-per-view, they had 2 number 1 contender shot matches. One of them was a 5 round because it was technically the end of a tournament. So no, but I do agree. That's why I'm saying not anybody out there needs to press the panic button, but these tournaments coming up, you better have people that's going to be able to go far in them because that is going to be your last chance in some cases to be able to make up ground. Because if you have a player that can go from the start of a tournament through the end, get all the points, wins the tournament, gets that chance for a belt, not only do you have those chance for those extra points if you win the belt, but you also have made all those points up going through the tournament. And that means you probably knocked out some of your competitors that you need to catch points up on. So that's the biggest thing right there is I do agree. But once we start going through these tournaments, and let's say, for instance, Stars, their people that they have in the tournament don't make it. They get knocked out in the first round. Now I think people like them, you better start hitting the panic button. You better start doing something, making some moves, doing a trade, preparing for even next year to a certain point, to be honest with you. Because at that point, if you get knocked out of these tournaments early, it's going to be really tough for you to catch up. Then you're only really playing just for like personal gains at that point, right? So the rest of her team will start most likely playing for themselves as far as like just trying to get belts for themselves, right? Because getting a belt at that point probably will not help them win a faction title. Right now, it's about the points and you possibly helping the faction, but at a certain point, it starts to become more of a selfish thing.
Here's the point that I will agree with Harper. If Alex brings full force into the next Star Wars tournament,
read the comment, Danny. Read the comment.
All right.
Damon has the ability to slice through the tournament like warm butter and would walk into spectacular with a big advantage and experience.
What if? But here's a possibility. What if he gets knocked out during the tournament?
That is a possibility.
That's
not knocked out.
That's what I said. Not knocked out, but like he doesn't go to the finals. That's a possibility. That can happen. Maybe Gold Leader is in his path, and I think Gold Leader has the capability of defeating Alex, especially if it is like a 3-round match. What I'm saying is that this bet of, hey, Alex is going through the tournament and to the finals and go to a spectacular to have the belt back. You have stakes on that. You have really stakes on that. I'm not saying that's not possible because it's Alex Damon. But never put all the eggs in the same basket. That's my point of view.
No, I mean, you never need to, because like you do that if you concentrate on one thing. Like I do think the dungeon did a better job this year, because I think last year they put too much eggs, like you're saying, into the IG basket and not enough into some of the other things. This year they're a little more spread out. They're a little more composed team. They have different people that can win matches in singles and teams and that and IG and that kind of thing. They're probably a little weak on Star Wars, but like they're better at all these other things. Whereas last year it was almost like, if they could have pulled it off, right? Like if Parker could have pulled off going through the tournament, if Smets wouldn't have got sick, and like he could have kept going with the title, then they would have looked super great, because they'd have been getting these bonus points for IG wins and everything else, and it would have been cool. But they did that, Danny. Like you're right. They put everything in one section, and then when that thing fell apart and didn't work like they wanted it to, then they were in trouble. So
yeah, here's the thing. Look at the past. What made corruption win last year?
Yeah,
they had a hold over IG with Chance and Mike, and they had a hold in singles, especially. Also teams, like they defeated the Founding Founders, became champions again, etc. But these two battlegrounds, they dominated. For me, even though I do think that Snyder is a great player, I think Janine right now is doing her best performances of her career right now. Where is the rest? Don't count on Star Wars for everything. Star Wars has to be the wild card, but not a guarantee. That's my point. What's making the downgrade right now is the fact that they are going to IG and Star Wars. I don't think the best players of the Den are, even though they are a good player, I'm not saying they are not a good player, but I think the best players right now in the Den are in IG and on Star Wars.
Right. But at least it's not.
So well, I think we've talked about this match enough. I think we've talked about all the scenarios the stars could go. We talked about all the like the multi-universes it can. But speaking of the Den in IG, we started this week off with an IG match involving a Den member, Saul versus Greg Alba.
Yes.
So let's go through this match and get your guys' thoughts on this match. Let's start with you, Justin. What about you, my man?
I mean, look, like I said, word for the day, intensity. Saul's obviously an intense character, obviously an intense player. He really cares about the Schmoedown. He really wants to go out and get that belt. And kind of like the delinquent in one match that we talked about, you had Greg Alba here who played a match. And I'm not saying he's a terrible player, but he comes in and the first thing he says is like the narrative turns into like, does he even care about winning the match? Like, oh, well, I didn't get to study because I've been busy. Like that's the first things out of your mouth, like almost setting it up. Like it's one of those things to where it's kind of weird with Greg Alba, because I love Greg Alba like as a person and everything else, right? Like even his character a little bit's funny, and like you can see like Christian even likes it a little bit to have this different kind of character who comes in. He's still able to win a match. Like he's not terrible. He's able to win a match here and there, but like the thing about it is he comes in with this like joking thing, and it's like, man, I could actually see, like, I know he's supposed to be a face, right? A bunch of fans and all this. Their channel's super awesome and all that. And he's even getting to do even bigger things than even what is on his channel, which is really super cool. And a lot of people love and like Greg Alba. But the thing about Greg Alba is like, if I was creating a heel, like, I would almost like look at what Greg Alba's doing as like this heelish character, right? Like you come in and act like, I don't care. Man, whatever. I don't even study movies, man. I'm just in here, right? And then I kind of hope like he wins some matches like Greg Alba did, right? Now, of course, if you was making a heel, you would make his character a little bit more heelish with a couple of other things that he would do in between there. But like he's talking the whole match, talking about he doesn't care, acting like, you know what I'm saying? He's doing that thing where it's like, I hope you win. I hope you win, Saul. Like throwing it out there and everything else to make it look like, oh, the pressure is on Saul or something like that. Like you can easily look at that as being like a heel type move. Now his charisma and stuff and the way he does it, and because everybody knows Greg and like all the goofy stuff he does, like it does come off as more goofy. But like if he were to get just a little bit more serious at points or change a couple of little things, he could become like a heel in the Movie Trivia Schmoedown like that. Because like I said, it's kind of like kill him with kindness almost kind of thing. Like, yeah, I don't know what y'all think about that, but that's my thoughts as far as that is.
I understand. Danny, I'll do mine after Danny. Danny, you go.
All right. But bringing what Jesse just said, look, even though I do agree that some of Greg's behavior has attitudes that are more similar to like what we would call heel moves, heel-ish moves. I think this match is actually a match about two ideologies that are regardless of being a heel or being a face. Is either you show up how much you study and how you engage with the competitive side of the Schmoedown and how you are like into like the fun is winning, the fun is getting everything right, against the philosophy, hey, I'm just here to answer some questions, I'm here to have some fun, hey, happy go lucky. This match for me was the battlefield of those two ideologies, and just one of those ideologies is going to come up as the winner. And in a sense, it's a sign where the Schmoedown is going. I think those days of, hey, I'm just showing up, I'm just here like to play a little bit, having some fun, answer some questions, and that's it. Those days are numbered. And I think this match proves more than anything else right now.
Yeah, you're probably right, Danny. I'm probably with you. Like I understand, you say things like, "Oh, I'm busy," I kind of don't study because I'm busy. I get.
So why do you show up?
No, but here's the thing. Here's the thing. It's not even like why do you show up. It's like, I get you're busy. Good for you. You're busy. You're doing good work. You're busy, and that's great for him. Yes. But guess what? There's a bunch of Schmoedown people who are busy. Like they're busy.
Everybody's busy.
Like literally, Thomas Harper got 3 little kids, a wife. He works. He's in the Army Reserves. He works for the American Red Cross on their council. Like that brother's busy. You know what I mean? Like I get it. You have a full-time job. I get it. You're busy. Cool. Good for you. Mad respect to you, Greg. Mad respect to you. No, I'm mad respect. Mad respect to him. Like the Real Reject channel is huge. Okay. Mad respect to the hard work he always puts into that channel. That channel has become a full-time job. Mad respect to him. I get you're busy. But that's not an excuse that I'm going to accept. Because I know for a fact other Schmoedown people are busy as well. Who are just as busy as you. You know what I mean? Like,
and you don't need to remind us that you are that busy like every 3 minutes.
Exactly. Like, much love to him. Like, I get it. I understand. I get it. But bruh, like Janine has a full-time job as well. And she improved this year. She found time to improve. She went from like, she's very good, I like Janine, to like she almost beat Marisol McKee. It's that goddamn Red Dawn 5-pointer. I get it. I get it. I get it. I understand. We all understand.
Speaking of which.
Well, you know what, man? Like, we can talk about this all day long between us three, right?
Yes.
Yeah. And we can do different things and whatnot, and we can just,
also
talk about all the different
things. Also, one more thing. He didn't properly adjust to the new IG. That's the one thing no one's ever talking about these IG players. They didn't. I don't think people have adjusted. People forget it isn't just the same old Marvel, DC, MCU, DCU, Lord of the Rings, what are the other Star Trek, Star Wars, like wheel, and like you get asked Indiana Jones and Back to the Future questions in the third round. It's not your same old IG. Mm-hmm. And I think if it stayed the same way, Greg this year would have played better. I honestly believe that. But due to the fact that it completely changed this year, like I don't think these people like those people last year that have those one-off things, those one-off IG players. I don't think they would be good this year because they didn't adjust to the new IG, like primary IG players.
That's a fair point.
Listen, this is a proven point. You come in against people like Chance this week. You come in against people like Saul this week, and you want to play the games and you want to laugh and cut up and everything else. There's room for that a little bit, but it also needs you better come in prepared for at least the answers to be able to answer some of those questions. Because if you don't, you're going to get knocked out. Because we are about we're here, guys, and like I said, we could sit here and talk about this all day, blue in the face. Maybe we need to talk about somebody that can expound upon this and tell us what it's really like to be there in the heat of the moment.
Everyone, let's get ready for the Saul Show.
Justin, you're
That's right,
indoors.
guys.
You don't need shades.
That's right, guys, but I'm part of the Saul Show because I'm a co-host of the Saul Show, and I'm not the only one. Hey, I'm wearing glasses just like the two guys on the left, and if you didn't notice when we came back, maybe a shock to you. I don't know why he's got the question marks on there. Everybody, well, I wouldn't say Channa's name. Maybe they kind of whisper it every now and then when they want to talk about something in the dark. No, we talking about Suge Knight 323.
Talking about a den member, man.
That's right. Getting up over here, coming in, because guess what, man? The biggest thing about this whole thing was when we started this thing is we came together, we started a podcast, and one of the reasons why, like let's peek behind the curtain here per se, is that we got the Saul Show because of the Saul Show. He was there all the ways from the beginning, telling us how crap we were going to be and everything else. And for some reason, he likes to come on here. Yeah. And for some reason, he likes to come on here and tell us how big, how much crap we are. You know what I'm saying? So with that being said, Suge was a part of that. And when we go to the Saul Show and we do our things like we're doing, it is just, hey, it's perfect to have the man come on so that we can do the Saul Show. And without further ado, let's talk about the star of the Saul Show itself, like the person that's doing the thing. The guy, look, bring him in. How many knockouts? How many knockouts is in the? Hey, how many knockouts? Hey, shut your mouth. That's why he's gonna come in and talk trash to you. Listen here, man. You got a proper setup. How many knockouts in the league? How many knockouts in the league? Fair.
2, 3. There's 3 knockouts in the league.
3 total knockouts. 2 of them comes from the man that we're about to bring on right here, guys. Welcome to the Saul Show. The man with the name himself. It's Saul.
I'm on the air. What do you do? Hang on, guys. I just got a weird mail thing.
Oh wow, man! Like right here.
Oh my God, they did it again.
Wow!
They did the point,
man.
I thank you very much to Christian and Mark Ellis and everyone over at Skybound, everyone that's in Nerd Chronic, because why not? But wow, I got another point, boys. This is really what it's about. Can you guys hear me okay? I'm not wearing my earbuds.
No.
Yeah, a little bit lower, but it's okay.
We can hear you. But like, I just want to showcase my den property over here because like I'm a true supporter of the den as being part of the co-host of the Saul Show. I got to show the support there. But nah, Saul, like here we go, man. Like you came in again, you did it again. 2 matches this year, 2 knockouts. Like you've done your thing, and some people like to try to say, "Oh man, like a knockout or a TKO is really based on like your opponent being bad." But I kind of got to fight against that because like you have to play super good. You've got to answer all these questions and possibly get steals. You knocked out a man before you even got to finish the second round, and in this last match, you knocked out a man that was 2-1. Not that should be a record, and you knocked him out. He didn't even get to a third round question. So like, nah, man, like that's the thing. Really enjoy watching you this year. So what you got going on?
What the hell is Suge Knight doing?
I don't know.
Why is he? I was promised that this was over. I didn't think I had.
It is over.
All right. Well, yeah.
A special guest. He's the den expert.
5 minutes.
Can't I be the den expert? Why isn't that why I'm here?
The den is too big for one person.
Hey, Shug, how you doing, buddy? You feeling good?
You're muted. You fucking moron.
Just like when we used to be on the show all the time, almost every week. Home dude ain't look. Oh man. Oh, come on, Shug. Try to say something again, man. Did you unmute yourself?
ball. I threw you a beach ball.
You know?
Yeah.
Yes, we can hear you.
You know, I was getting hacked by somebody. I'm doing good, Saul. How are you doing today, sir?
My audio is super low, according to.
Yeah, it is. It is. Yeah.
Yeah, it is
thank you for the
kind of
earphones.
low, yeah. Shout out to the audio listeners.
Hey
that
man,
are
listen. Listen, guys. Listen. Just like some of the other things you watch, this is the first actual like edition of the Saul Show here. There's some technical difficulties happening. We're working them out. Go ahead, Saul.
Thank you, Rachel Silvestrini, for all her help with our audio issues.
Wow, much better.
Thank you, Rachel.
I'm here. I'm here doing. Let's go. This is it. We got the big fat intro. You stuck Suge in instead of me. That was a mistake. We're gonna learn from our mistakes, and we're gonna move forward. What do you got from me? The Saul Show is very interactive. I want to know what you guys are thinking.
You're an interactive person.
Go ahead first.
Like, here's the thing. This is your second match, your second KO. You basically murdered both real rejects. And like people are gonna keep saying you beat the real rejects. Who gives a damn? You know what I mean? Like, what do you say to them people? Because there's still people out there be like, you beat Greg, the guy who's busy. Of course he didn't know his IG. Why should I take Saul seriously? Like, who cares?
That's the beauty thing. That's what's great about the Saul Show. Saul Show's been renewed all season. We're not going anywhere, baby. They put in a full order of episodes. So you just tune in the next time and then the next time. Because I'll just keep showing up and I'll be taking on whoever they put in front of me and I'll be saying, yes, please, I'll have some more. This is the gladiator class of the Schmoedown. Gladiators don't get to say no. I don't want to say no. Greg Alba is a serious competitor despite what he says. Greg Alba took one of the greatest of all time to his 5-pointer. That's a talent. That's a knowledge base that has to be dealt with and contended and has to be addressed in a training regimen. If anyone thought I was taking any of these guys seriously, not seriously, you don't know me. These guys have warranted the consideration I gave them, and I gave them a lot of time and energy, and my preparation and the way I approached the game won out that day. If Greg wants to say he doesn't study, he doesn't, Greg is a good guy. I don't hate Greg. My favorite Schmoedown player of all time is like Josh McCouga, and Ken Knapsack. These are not guys who really have the same preparation that I have. And you don't have to be like me in order for me to respect you or like you. Like I said in my promo, I mean, I said it kind of differently than I'm going to say it now. There's enough room in the Schmoedown for players like Greg and John and whoever else wants to have that approach. Mine's different. On that day, mine was better. It doesn't make Greg a less. I have nothing but respect, and I'm a fan of Greg. I'm a fan of John Humphrey. I'm a fan of Koi Jandreau. My approach won that day. I don't think there's anything wrong with my approach. My approach isn't here because I'm a loser. My approach isn't here because I have a lot of free time or I don't have responsibilities or a job. My approach was born out of what I want to do in my life and how it translates through this game that I am privileged to play. So if anyone criticizes, says I haven't beat any real opponents yet, that's fine. You're allowed to have an opinion I don't agree with. You're wrong. I would like to see you play Greg Alba. I would like you to watch the game tape and tell me this is going to be a cakewalk. And, you go ahead. You do that. And then, you know what? Again, like I said, I got another match coming up. Maybe that'll meet your standards. And if it doesn't, I'm going to have one after that. I'm not going anywhere. I'm a draw.
That's right. That is right, Saul.
I want to point something else out. Like
you're a draw. I'm set for people that aren't.
I want to say something, Saul. I said earlier, I don't think Greg acclimated to the new IG. He was still going with the old IG model. And I want to ask you, those emergency IG players last year, if they try to like dip their toe again in this year, you think they're gonna have a hard time against primary IG players like you, who got the new categories, who went deep into the newer categories, who the other people just thought it would be kind of the same but a little bit extra? Do you think that has been a massive hiccup for these people?
I don't know. I got to be honest with you. If you're coming in and you're core 8, which I still call it the core 8, the old, we had the same slices over and over again. If you have a really strong core 8 and a passing knowledge, I mean, chances are if you're the type of person who likes those movies, if you like comic book movies and Star Wars and Lord of the Rings and Star Trek and Harry Potter, you probably also, not everyone, but most of these people probably also grew up watching Predator and Flash Gordon, probably also grew up watching Superman movies, probably grew up watching, or not even growing up, just that's the crap you're into. So if you're super tight on those core 8 and you have a passing knowledge of the new slices, you could still come in and throw some, you could throw some trivia around. You could throw some points around. And look, this is a game. How many times have we watched this game come down to the 5-pointer? How many times have we watched this game come down to a miss here or there? Greg Alba's a threat. John Humphrey's a threat. And I have no apologies for what I did to them, or, the way they approach the game. I can't explain that's on them. That's how they saw it.
So talking about approaches, I don't know if you were listening to here before this whole show began, but I'll be honest, and you can disagree with me. You're a competitor, I'm not. I think there are approaches, and people that does this kind of approach of the Schmoedown, their days are numbered. I'm not saying that you have the best approach, but I'm saying that everybody that I saw this year, as of now, that said, hey, I'm just here to answer some questions, I'm here to have fun, hey, happy-go-lucky, is not paying off. And it's not damaging only them. It's damaging their teammates as well. These affections now, there are stakes on that. So do you really think that there is really a place for this kind of approach in the Schmoedown in the future?
I don't spend a lot of time thinking about that because it's not something I got to worry about. Look, I could have. You're talking to a guy who probably should have been something similar to a Greg Alba. I probably should have been the guy who was a funny player who came in maybe once or twice a year, right, and came and did nothing but screwed around. That was something that was an option, and I considered it. But I thought to myself, wouldn't it be funnier? Because again, I'm just here to make people laugh. In the grand scheme of things, I am in this space. I am lucky enough to be in this space because I want to come in and make people laugh. And I'm so lucky that I get to be a part of this. You have no idea how much it means to me. How it's, and the fact that I spend this much time here and it's permeated my life in such a way, it's such an enhancement to who I am, my character. That, and me being here, I almost feel guilty being here. I almost feel like I don't deserve people.
Imposter syndrome?
No, I don't think that, but like, I don't deserve the fact that I have 550 followers on Twitter. Some people laugh. Some people hear that and laugh. But like the fact that like I have people retweeting me and telling me they love what I do, and people ask for my autograph at Spectacular 2 years ago, that to me is, I feel like I owe. Yeah. When Suge was too afraid to ask me for my autograph, like a mark. That to me means a lot to me. And now I'm not going to tell you to retweet me. I'm not going to tell you to follow me. But if you do, I'm going to make it worth your while. This is the type of person I am. I'm going to give you something back for it because I'm blown away by all of that. I decided, because I'm just here to make people laugh and have a good. I hope I'm an enhancement to your entertainment. I hope whoever comes to the Schmoedown, whoever comes to the Schmoverse, as I call it, whatever it is you're looking for, I hope I can give it to you humorously. And I thought it was funny because, again, I could have been that player who thought it was funny to screw around and make joke answers, and right. I had bits lined up and everything, and I thought, wouldn't it be funnier if like the bacon guy was really good at trivia? That to me was a funnier bit than just coming out and fucking, excuse me, I didn't mean to curse, but just coming out and screwing around.
It's the Saul show.
It's the Saul show,
yeah. The Saul show, which one of the great sponsors of the Saul show, Skybound Entertainment, doesn't love when I talk that way. So I made a promise to somebody who's probably disappointed. I got one. All right.
I can edit it out afterwards. Put a beep on that.
Nah, we're good.
But Danny, to answer your question more succinctly, I hope players like Greg don't go away. I think there's room in the under the Schmoedown big top. There is room for more than enough room for Greg Albas. And there's more than enough people who want you to laugh, who again are expressing themselves in a humorous way. There's more than enough people. There's more than enough space for there. And you know what? If managers don't want to draft those players anymore, don't want to sign those players anymore, I'm not a manager. I'm busy winning matches. Okay, I'm not a manager. So ask me when I'm a manager if I'll do that. So.
But yeah, so Saul, speaking of the man who's scared to get your autograph at Spectacular, Shook, you got something for him, my brother?
You better.
Yeah. I always got something for you, Saul. But, this year I've been watching you play and play well. I wanted to ask you, obviously, other than the belt, which is the obvious answer, and to entertain the Schmoedown fans, what has been your motivation this year? What is your motivation like this year?
I am, it's just a little thing. I am simply trying to save my own life. That's all I'm trying to do. I asked myself, what if I could save my life through movie trivia? And I said that to myself almost 2 years ago, and I laughed my ass off. And I'm a guy who's lost a lot. There's a lot of things I can't come back from. I've lost more in this life than I'll ever be able to have an opportunity to get back. And when you do that, man, do you appreciate stuff? Wow, do I appreciate things more than I did 5 years ago. I'm a different guy. And I'm just trying to get back. I'm just trying to get back to zero in a lot of ways. I'm trying to figure out, I got air in my lungs, and that means every minute I do, I still have a chance to do something. I still have a chance to put something into this world worth a damn. And I know a lot of people who've been through what I've been through and don't anymore. They don't have that chance anymore. And so I figured while I'm here, why don't I just put all of myself into something? Why don't I give people a show? People got to see it. Give them something to look at. That's the motto of the Saul Show. All right. So if I do that, if I can just get to a place where I genuinely feel afraid all the time. I don't want to lose. It doesn't hurt to lose in the Schmoedown. It's beyond embarrassing. It doesn't hurt. It scars you. All right. It's a scar. And every time I'm in that StreamYards before the match, in my head, I rub my finger over that scar tissue, and it takes me right back to what I'm playing for, to go back to that dark place, what a loss really is in the Schmoedown. And I don't want to go there again. So, and the only way I know how to do that, the only way how I know to not French kiss the darkness, baby, the only way I know to go forward, to come out on top, is to give everything I got. To give you maximum Sully, maximum trivia. That's what I'm talking about. Because I tell you what, some people are, I see people, I talk to people, and I think they're too afraid to do it. They're too afraid to just give it just a little bit more. Leave everything you have out there. There's nothing wrong. I love this Schmoedown. I'm entertaining people. I make people chuckle, or they find it interesting, or they think it's it's a sport. They take something away from it. They invite us into their lives, and I'm here to give back to them. Again, you follow the Saul Show. You're here with me. You're out there saying, "Hey, I dig what this guy does. I feel like I owe you a debt. I'm going to pay you back. I'm going to pay you back with everything I got every time, because I think that's the best way to do it. That's what I'm here to do. I still have a chance to give something to this world, to show you guys that I feel overwhelmed by what I'm doing here. And while I'm still here, I'm just going to, the best way to do this, what motivates me is the opportunity that I'm so lucky to have to give you everything I got. That's what I get up for. When I feel you know what? It's in my lower back. I feel nervous, and nervous becomes fear. And when I feel it, I know I'm in the right place. When you're in that place where you're afraid, you run towards the fear. And then that's where you find out who you really are. That's an opportunity. And asking movie trivia questions, I can find out who I am sometimes. Am I the type of guy who packs up shop and runs away and goes to be comfortable somewhere else? And Am I going to sit on the couch and be that guy and detach from people, or am I going to put myself out there and I'm going to risk being embarrassed and humiliated? I'm going to be the guy. Someone's going to put somewhere in some comment section how much of a tool I am, how much of an ass I am. I know that's coming. Doesn't feel good. I'm here to tell you it doesn't feel good. I'm going to risk it. All right.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go. Maximum trivia. That's what it's about. Giving everything
Listen.
you got.
Someone
cut me off, for damn it. I've been
I'm picking up what you're putting down, man, because like
a
lot of people come in here. Look, a lot of people come in here because it's movie trivia. They want to just push it off to the side, and I get exactly what you're saying, right? Like I didn't know how much.
Am I making any
how much?
sense? I'm just.
You're making sense. You're making sense because like I started thinking about it, right? Like I didn't know how much my butt missed a theater chair until it sat in it the other night because I haven't been able to do it in so long. And sometimes we forget about the small things actually mean a lot more than what we think they do, right? We have a guy this year that's been having to fight cancer that's a part of the Schmodown. We have like the emotions of some of these victories that we've already had like this year, the tears, like the anger and stuff that goes on over something as simple as movie trivia because it means that much to them. Now, the one thing about you, Saul, is like what you just laid out for us, right? You laid out a lot of passion. You laid out a lot of vigor about like how you feel about the Schmodown and what it means to you, to put on the show for the fans, right? Some of the things in this last match that I was seeing getting put into some of the chat and some of the other places was like, oh man, look how mad Saul got because like he had to check down and he knew the answer or he got that one answer wrong. Like, look how tightly wound he is. What happens if like he's playing against someone like a Chance Ellison or a Parker or something like that, Mike Kalinowski or one of the best. And that same thing happens if he's acting like he is against these matches that it looks like he's knocking fools out left and right. Like what's going to happen at that time? Would you like to expound upon that? Maybe like shut some people up whenever they try to say stuff like that.
Yeah. I mean, look, I would be honored to share the table with any of those names. Chance Ellison, Mike Kalinowski, Robert Parker. I'd be honored. I respect every Schmodown player. I got more respect for every player who stands behind the green shield of the inner geekdom. You get more respect from me just for that. So if Kalinowski or Chance Ellison or Robert Parker, on the other hand, want to roll the dice, and if they think I get worse if I get angry, I humbly and respectfully encourage them and any other player who's feeling froggy to leap. You try to do that, because if you think my performance decreases under anger or stress, if you think I've lived a life in which I've been confronted with stress and anger and I've performed less than, if you don't think I can meet that challenge, I dare you to try to make me feel that way. Because I tell you what, I wasn't in a great mood the day we shot that match. And every time I got angry, and I kept getting angrier, and it was like focusing a manual camera. The image just kept getting sharper in my mind and sharper and sharper. And that's one of the reasons why I was so mad that I checked down on 18 months. I knew the answer. I was trying to be strategic. It's a whole thing. I'm not going to dissect my thought process for strategic reasons. For a lot of reasons, I'm not going to dissect it. I shouldn't have done it. It's a regret. I'm glad you know what? But I learned, I told you guys once, I learned more in the first two questions of my first Schmodown match than I ever did in half a year preparing for it. Mm-hmm. I learned a lot in that multiple choice check down. I learned a very valuable lesson, and I'm lucky that it was in a match that I won by a knockout. And I lucked out. It wasn't against Don DePani. It wasn't against Parker. It was against a match that I had under control. But now I know that lesson, and now I'm not going to unknow it. So, again, you want to try to get a rise at me? Go right ahead.
Yeah. So yeah, we actually got two Streamlabs that came in. First Streamlabs from Jose from Lunch Break Hot Take. The Hot Labs crew is back. Let's go. No, it's all ours. From ASG 1982 for the Drew Brees, the first pick of the second round of the Schmodown.
Thank you very much, Andrew. I appreciate that very much.
Yeah. So Saul,
we're about the same height too, me and Drew Brees.
Yeah, you guys about
really
about 6 foot.
That means you're short.
I'm not short. Drew Brees is short for a football player. He's not actually short.
Short, yeah. So Saul, next
you're
week,
short for me.
I'm
5'9". That's an inch above average, Danny. You Brazilian
yeah, it's true.
shark.
It's true. So Saul, next week, Amaru Moses versus Moose Haas. They play for a meeting against you. Do you give a damn who it is? Are they just lambs to slaughter to you, or are you training differently for the winner? If it's Moose, if it's Amaru, are they different strategies, or are you like it doesn't matter, lambs to slaughter? I'm gonna take him out.
Fares Muthana, you know I don't train differently for different competitors. You know they get me, I don't get them.
You know
He knows, but the audience doesn't know.
for the audience, my brother.
I don't train for a competitor. I assess the situation, and I craft the greatest preparation I possibly can around my schedule. It's my preparation and the time frame I have.
Right.
I build that knowing me. Moose Haas is a guy that I take seriously. He's obviously a guy who can scrap. I like that. I like scrappy players. That gives really good matches. Amaru Moses, I think, I kind of have to think, I got a problem with Amaru. I think everyone knows that. I think it's very fitting that he was the number 2 overall draft pick because in that first match he played like number 2, and that's what I call him, number 2. And he called me. He made a. I had nothing to say about the guy until I heard about him, and then I heard he came after me. He came after me in public for no reason. He's trying to get attention. He's trying to get heat, and that's completely ridiculous and unprofessional. It wasn't like he was doing a bit. It wasn't like we know each other. I don't like that. It's unprofessional. And if he wins next week, and he could win, I got to think last match was an outlier. In my assessment of him, I have to think that last match was a bit of an outlier. But,
which was his first match, by the way.
Right.
Let's not forget about that.
You're 100%. It's not entirely fair to judge everybody. When you assess a player, you got to look at their basement and their ceiling. And if they only have in the first match, it's going to be a different animal. You can't really take everything that they do as, well, that'll be what they're going to do every time. People grow. Ben Bateman is not the same player he was after his first match. For some reason, when people in the reactor space, when some fans assess players, for some reason, there's this weird thing where they think players can't get better. They always think that's that player forever. I've only improved. I've gotten better at the table. I've gotten better as a character. I think I've gotten better in every aspect you can get better, and I continue to do that. That's what
They can get worse as well.
You can you can lose the eye of the tiger. Sure. You can lose the motivation to be better. You can lose the motivation to want to play. That's unfortunate. I think we've all seen that. But I think Moses is going to be improved. And I think look, it's very simple. I'm not going to overcomplicate this. The kid called me out. I'm going to make an example out of him. I now got to show the rest of the league, I'm not a warp zone to some heat. You're not going to use me to get some publicity. You're not going to get me to get talked about. He called me out for no reason. That will be, and if it's him, that will be in my mind, and I will make an example.
Not saying he's overlooking his next opponent, but it just so happens that he's also got his eye on you because he's actually joined the chat over here with I haven't had nothing but great things to say about Saul. I just didn't like him coming after my people. So he's here. So he's here to see what Saul show has to offer. So like I said, I don't think he's overlooking his next opponent, but you're right. Like if he wins,
he's not overlooking his next opponent, but he's in here talking to me. That's pretty cocky. Do you know what? I'd be worried about Moose Haas. Moose Haas is not a player that I would come in all willy-nilly. Moose Haas can answer some questions. Moose Haas can embarrass you. And I tell you what,
he embarrassed someone already, right? I think that match that Moose Haas played against, what his name? Justin's friend.
Jacob Wittenben.
Well, the fact that I don't remember his name speaks a lot.
True. I mean, here goes the deal, man. Like, this thing's getting heated because like we're getting closer and closer to the end of the season, like we were talking about earlier. And as we inch closer and closer to the end of the season, things are just going to naturally get more heated because you're trying to do things not just for yourself, for your faction and everything else. And like I said, man, like, so he's got his eye on you. He heard what you said, I guess, in that post match, because like, if you watch Saul's match this week and you saw the knockout, immediately afterwards, they asked him who he wanted to play, and he went straight to Amaru Moses. And that makes me want to see that Saul versus Amaru Moses. Like, I am rooting for Amaru Moses more than I ever would have, just to be able to see him versus the Saul show, to be honest with you.
Moses, do you need help studying? I'll help you study to beat Moss, like Moss, whatever.
Moose.
I will help you. That's how bad I want you to win. All right? I'm not looking past anybody. I've never looked past anybody. I don't look past anyone. I know every single player in this division. I know what they're capable of. I know what their strengths are. I know what their weaknesses are. I know what they are when they're at their best and when they're at their worst. I expect them at their best every single time. And I will prepare for such. I will prepare for both until I don't have to. And then I will prepare for one. And then I will do what I've been doing all season. I'm supremely confident in my abilities. Boys, I don't know how to tell this to you. I figured this out a little bit. And I just keep getting better. And every time every match, every time I go and I hit those books and I got my note cards, every time it's another layer of paint. It's another layer of opacity I'm putting on. It's another coat. Okay? So you keep putting steam in that engine. I'm going to keep blowing through those whatevers. I'm not going to curse. Sorry.
Hey, listen.
Thank you, Saul, for not cursing.
Well, go ahead, Shug. You got something for Saul right now? Go ahead, Shug. Lay it out there.
No, I mean, I love what I'm seeing from Saul. I always have, but he just seems he's gotten more intense over the last year, and it's coming out. And some people love it, some people hate it. And
why would you say that?
No,
I'm kidding. I'm just messing around.
Oh, wow. I was
Talking about overreacting.
I'm messing around.
But some people hate it, some people love it, and to me, it's look. I appreciate someone that shows up with their lunch pail to play movie trivia, because you know what? I pay good money for this Patreon, and I support this community to watch people like Saul play, like to watch people like Chet Ellison, Robert Parker, Kevin Smith, Mike Kalinowski, Rachel Cushing, all the greats, Dan Merle, Ben Bateman. You know what? Character work aside, when you show up to play the Schmoedown, I appreciate it. So I appreciate, Saul, that you show up every day to play for the Schmoedown. But what do you say to those people that are saying you're too intense? Who say that it's just movie trivia, Saul? Relax. Don't take it so seriously. What do you say to that?
I'm glad they're very comfortable dictating to complete strangers how they should live their life. That makes me, that's really cool. Tell me that to my face, all right? I don't come to your life and tell you what to take seriously and what not. I don't create your priorities for you. I get a little bit more out of this than I think a lot of other people do. And I have no problem with that. And I'm going to continue to do so. I told you, boys, and I wasn't exaggerating. I'm trying to save my own life here. Let's see what I'm capable of doing. Can I push myself to a place where I can trust myself to act exactly the way I need to in a pressure situation? So far, I think I can. But every time I get that opportunity, there's an opportunity for growth, for me to be a better person overall, not just a better player and a competitor. It's fun. Let's go. Let's get scared. Let's get some scars going. Let's see what we can learn from that and then go forward. Next time, we don't get the scar. I love it. I'm going to keep you know what? I don't think I take this seriously enough. I'm thinking about all new ways. What else could I corrupt with my obsession? Let's do it, baby. I'm bringing my scars to this. What else could I do? I'm going to start nitpicking over thumbnails again. I want specific theme music played in certain notes.
Got a man fired over that.
You don't. No, I did not. First of all,
technically you did.
Yeah, fired, and then he worked there for five more months. Get out of here. And I wasn't wrong. I wasn't wrong.
Shout out to that person.
And we're gonna talk about this show's thumbnail when we get off the air. It's disrespectful.
Well, no, I don't have a render of you. That's the Schmoedown doesn't have a render of you.
Shut up, Daddy. Why don't you render your mouth shut? And I am going to take this as seriously as I see fit. So those players who think I take it too, those people who, it's hard not to curse tonight. I don't know what it is. I'm drinking green tea, man. I'm trying to calm down.
It's because of this year. When I see Sugar wants to curse as well.
Passion. Let's be real. When you're passionate, you have no control of the words that are coming out your mouth. You don't give a shit. You just let it flow, man. Let it flow.
Fares don't curse. Don't
Listen,
curse.
I'm
Fares.
telling you,
It's contagious.
look,
Fares,
It's contagious.
the last time I cursed or said something bad, they will keep DMing me. Don't say that word ever again.
No, that was very specific, Danny. Don't even pull that shit on me.
I know this. I know,
Ah,
Saul, you're not this person
Yeah.
that's going to look over anybody. You didn't look over Humphreys. You didn't look over Alba. And guess what that got you? Is 2 knockouts. And, you know, like, I don't know. Is that a record? 2 knockouts in a row? Is that already a record, or does he need to get 3 in a row to be a record? But let's go. Like, I am going to peer into the future a little bit. Couple of things here. One, you definitely should be there live in New York, the first live event this year. Seems like we may be having one in October. Seems like we should be having an. Yeah, I mean, come on, dog. Like, I'm not a booker,
Brooklyn, New
but
York,
if I
and they
book
call
this
my name.
event, if I book this event and Saul doesn't get called out in New York, I mean, something's happening. All right, but overall, man, is your goal to be on that stage? Because I've already, like, in the next few days, I should already have my ticket booked and my seat ready and prepared for me to be out there in the crowd. Overall, is the goal just to be on that stage at the Spectacular this year?
Absolutely. My goal is to, and the way it's lined up, I told you guys in March, my goal is not only the Inner Geekdom Championship, my goal is to give you the most entertaining title chase the Schmoedown's ever seen. And I have that path laid out in front of me now. You know, it was like I'm just running full speed, and then eventually in the distance, the fog broke, and I could see the end of the path, and I could see the city on the hill that I'm trying to get to. And my path is now laid out for me, and I gotta handle business. I gotta handle business at Collision, which is an honor. It's an honor to be on that card. So it's going to be my first major event. It's an honor to share time with Mike Kalinowski and Chance Ellison and Marisol McKee. I can't believe I get to participate in an event like that. I'm blown away, and I got to go and do my work. And that I got that date circled on my calendar, and that has to be the ascension. That's got to be where I do the level up, where these people who think because I haven't been in a round 3 in a year think I forgot how to do it. This is where I'm going to show them. I could have went to round 3 against Greg. I could have went to round 3 against John. I think I would have been just fine. I would have been more than fine. If you think I didn't leave that match with Brandon Hanna, thinking about round 3 every day, every single day since May, you don't know who you're dealing with. Remember, I'm the guy who takes this entirely too seriously. I've been working on my round 3 for over a year. It's just ironic. It's a weird coincidence. I just haven't had one yet. But if you think I somehow forgot, like if you think I'm going to get in the round 3 and go, oh, I thought we're done now. Like, that's ridiculous. I promise you, I can go the distance. I'm sorry that I just keep beating people before I have to. That's not exactly a bad thing. I know people have twisted it around and had some sort of strange logic in their head where they think, well, it must be a bad thing that he can't go the distance. I can't go the distance because I'm winning. I mean, it's ridiculous. Trust me. I assure you, I'll figure it out. People, there's people who have won matches in their first, won titles in their first 5-round match. They figure it out. I think I have an aptitude for the Schmoedown, and I think I'll be able to apply that in a round 3. Collision is an honor. It's an honor for me to represent my faction at Collision and be on that poster with those names. And I will take that as seriously as I do. And I will respect the fans who are plopping down cash for that. People are paying to see me, and I respect that. I respect that a lot. You sign up, you literally pay for the Saul show. I'm going to give you a show no matter what. I think you deserve a better Schmoedown, and I'm going to give it to you whether you like it or not. And I'm going to give it to you the way that I dictate. You're going to see the Schmoedown through my eyes. I'm going to play my way. And at Collision, that's where I ascend. I'll silence all of those people. I'm going to level up as a competitor. I'm going to level up as a performer. And when you're done with Collision, you're gonna slap down that money to watch Marisol and Kevin Smith, and you're gonna watch Shazam, the team's champion of the world. That's maybe why you're paying. You will leave Collision thinking about what I did. I'm stealing that show right out from underneath everybody. I promise you. You will leave that remembering my match.
So we actually got Danny. You got something for Saul? Danny, what up?
Look, Saul, I'm not discounting that because I do think that collision is a very essential part of your path to the title, but also because of the news that we recently got. If correct me if I'm mistaken, but let's say that you win at collision, you have your chance at the title, and if doesn't go your way, you can't participate in the tournament. Does that pressure of because that's kind of a punishment of not being able to win the belt in the first pass.
I need to fact check you a little bit. If I don't win at collision, I will be able to enter the tournament.
No. If you win collision, but you don't win the title match, that's what I'm asking.
Right. Okay. All right.
So that can bring some kind of pressure, right? Because I do think because the way that you talk about the Dan, you talk about Kate, like you're very tight with them, like, and having you at the tournament seems like a very good strategy to have, because the amount of points that you can have in a great path in the tournament can guarantee the faction winning, right?
Well, we still have a Goddard. We still have Ben Goddard on this team, and Ben Goddard is the captain of this team for a reason. And if I can't compete in that tournament, that's called a good problem. It's because I'm gearing up for a title shot, and I'm going to bring that belt home to the Den. And I hope I get scheduled before Thomas, because Thomas is bringing home a title too. We're kind of racing now. Who's going to get there first? And he's got a little bit of a lead on me, so I'm afraid he's going to probably do it. But if I don't get into that tournament, Ben Goddard will go in and he will handle himself. He will more than handle the competition. I have all the faith in the world that Ben can compete at a very high level in Inner Geekdom. If you don't believe me, you just go tune into the Lord of the Rings. I promise you, every Inner Geek, if there's an Inner Geekdom competitor who hasn't watched the Lord of the Rings match yet and was not impressed with Ben Goddard, he's gonna eat you alive. That was an impressive display. And if that guy can do that with Lord of the Rings, he could probably do it with all sorts of other geeky slices. I promise you. So I would love to be able to go into the tournament and win it, especially after what happened to me last year. It would be nice to erase that history. But the real focus has to be the Inner Geekdom Championship of the Schmoedown. And my path this year doesn't go through the tournament, it looks like, if I do it right. And as much as it does, you don't understand the conversation I had with Kate. I was like, well, even if I win,
something that breaks your heart.
Even if I told Kate, I'm like, well, even if I win, I want to go into the tournament. And we both said, wait, no, you can't do that. You have but the tournament, I would love to be there, but I've got a higher calling this year. It looks like.
That's fair.
Yep. Last question before we get out of here goes to our guest. Shug, what about you, my brother?
Now, look, anybody that knows me knows that how long I've been a fan of the Schmoedown knows my favorite person in the Schmoedown is Kate Mulligan. Obviously, you see the chat. There's a bunch of dem members here. Saul, what has Kate Mulligan and there's Rachel Silvestrini, Peggy Govins, Ben Goddard was in the chat. Thomas Harper was here. Rachel Silvestrini, who is also one of my favorites. But what has Kate and the Den done for you this year? Getting you prepared, getting you this, ready to possibly be IG champion.
Well, as I said earlier, Rachel helped with the audio issues. That's enormous. You can't have audio issues, expect to be the champion. So, that's a huge thing that Rachel's done for me tonight. I kind of expected a laugh out of that. That's fine. We're moving on. But
the Mark Ellis comedy thing goes.
Because technically it was true as well.
Well, yeah. I mean,
if you think about it,
it's a callback, you fools. No, listen.
No, we know. This is funny.
Hey, that was funny. That was funny.
I think you're more entertaining being angry than being funny.
I don't need you clowns to tell me what's funny and what isn't funny. All right.
I think we do.
It's audience feedback. Stand-up comedian.
Yeah, but what the hell kind of audience are you clowns? Listen to me.
The perfect audience.
I don't know how. I've spent a life kind of going at it alone for various reasons. Some good, some bad.
Right.
It's usually just it's usually just me. And to let people into your life has always been a challenge. And the den has entered my daily life. Being up, I mean, sometimes in a very small way, sometimes in a significant way. Sometimes I spend half the day with these people, you know, through Zoom calls and phone calls and text messages and tweets. And that, to me, the way I've lived my life for most of it is bizarre in a wonderful way. And I don't know, you know, they don't, I'm sort of the black sheep in a lot of ways of the den, but
Really?
and I know that. Yeah, you know, I don't want to get too much into the psychology of our faction or anything, but it's my life has been improved by having these people around. And I can't say that about a lot of the things I've done in my life. So they mean the world to me. And I'm just so happy that they tolerate my nonsense, because there's a lot. Kate Mulligan is a saint. You have no idea what she puts up with. The conversations I've had with that woman, the fact that, like, I've started at least this season alone, one time last season, 3 times this season, I picked up the phone and I'm like, this is it. This is the conversation that is either ends with, Saul, I got to trade you now. I can't, or I got to cut you one time. I expected that every time. And every time she's like, no, that's great. Cool. Let's do it. Like, you have no idea how great, like, this is the only manager that I could ever, no one's doing that for me. Sam Levine's not picking up my phone calls if I, you know.
I don't think he's picking anybody's
Winston
calls,
would have
but
thought it was
okay.
funny for like a minute, and then he was like, you know what? This ain't working. I don't think, you know, this is it. It's I can't tell you how I'm lucky to be in the Schmoedown. It's a privilege. And I don't, again, I know what it's like to lose shit you don't want to lose. And I appreciate this so much, and I'll do everything to be a part of it for as long as I can. And the fact that inside of that, I found these people. I mean, that's incredible. It's incredible that I'm in a place in my life that you know, that's another thing. It's like, I don't know that I would have been ready for this, you know, any other time in my life than right now. And the fact that I found Thomas Harper and Peggy Gubbins and Ben Goddard and Paul and Lacey, my favorite podcaster, you know, the fact that I'm friends with Lacey, and, you know, I call these people friends now. And, like, I didn't know who they were a year ago. And of course, Rachel, you know, Rachel's probably my Schmoedown bestie. And Sean Sullivan, who's Den alumni. The fact that I found it, the fact that I get to know these people and interact with them and do this little weird special thing. The fact that I do it has enhanced my life.
Jessica Schloff as well.
Jessica
Shout out
Schloff.
to her.
Yeah, of course. Wait till she plays again. Wait till you guys see no one's talking about her enough.
We should have her on the show. Just saying.
You should. Absolutely.
Yeah. Don't you agree, Saul?
Yeah, you should. You should absolutely have her on the show. And Jader Paramo is I can't wait to meet, like, Jader Paramo for real. Like, that's going to be a fun time. And, you know, and there's even people not in it. Just, you know, just being a part of this community has been nothing but an enhancement to my life. It's taken over my life at times, which is bizarre. It's like, I know, like, and again, I say that in a positive way. Like, I can't believe, like, it's really prevalent in my life now. And that's something that I don't know what I did right to be here in this spot in this moment, but I'm happy I screwed. Look, I'm just screwed up enough to be really good at the Schmoedown, I think. And whatever I did wrong, however screwed up I am, I hope I keep to be that way, so we all get to keep riding this train.
I understand completely what you're putting down. There's a lot of times in life when you think you have to go through it on your own. Like, I had that moment, right? Like, having to be, you know, taking care of my son on my own and stuff like that. Like, you feel like you have to do it. You don't need any help, or you don't want any help because you think you have to do it on your own. Same kind of situation here, right? Don't know, like, a lot of your personal things leading up to this, but it seems like you're at a point in time in your life where you're trying to trudge through the life on your own. And now you got this support system. You got these people, like you said, you didn't even know a year ago, that now has your back, and that could change things. All right, man. Saul show's about to be done here. Do you have any last parting words for, like, the people as we cut this off?
I just hope that you guys get to experience the type of joy that I experience whenever Paul Preston thinks one of your jokes is funny. That's a very when you can make Paul Preston laugh. I
He's a
wish that
hack.
for everybody. Shut up, Fares. No one cares what you think about comedy.
Wow, shut up, Fair. That's a
I
phrase
mean-
I haven't heard for a long time.
And it's a shame that you haven't heard.
We probably should hear it a lot more, to be honest with you.
Yeah, we should. Yeah, shut up, Ferris. Nobody likes you.
Yeah, really.
not worth
Take
it.
credits for it.
This has been fun. Thank you, Saul, for your time. Every time from the Saul Show, it's always entertaining and everything else.
How long was that? Was that long enough?
Hey, we've been going for
40 minutes.
a good amount of time. Yeah. So listen, guys.
Was
we're
I
about to cut
aggressive
the Saul
enough?
Show.
I feel like there's an
Oh yeah.
expectation.
Oh, you were pretty
I feel
aggressive.
like-
You're pretty aggressive.
You're pretty aggressive.
I don't know. Let's start talking about
You were
things.
intense, like Suge said. You were intense.
Was I?
Yeah.
Sugar, you okay? I feel like we've inconvenienced you greatly by you being here. By the way,
No, I'm
everyone,
perfectly fine.
He ain't got nothing to do on a Friday. He ain't got no life. Inconvenience.
Apparently, I don't have no life. Coming from the guy that,
Wow.
we're not going to go
man.
there. We're not going to go
Get
there.
out.
Wow,
That's
man.
why
I do have a life.
Hey, it's been
We're not gonna
civil.
go
It's
there.
been civil this
Listen,
whole
you
time
got your
right here.
goddamn mouth. You got your
Listen,
goddamn mouth.
it's been
We're
civil.
gonna
y'all.
go-
Listen,
I
hey,
You're gonna
it's
take
been
that.
doing
civil to
something
this
as I'm
point.
Don't take that from him.
Yeah,
Get
it's
him,
been
Suge.
civil to this point.
No,
right
it's
here. I'm gonna
fine.
tell you
No,
right
it's
now.
fine.
I'm telling
Get
you,
him,
fine.
Suge.
Shut up, Rob.
It's
Who the
fine.
hell's Rob?
It's fine.
I don't know. He's one of the
Hey
Canadians.
guys, all right, guys, we'll be right back.
Everyone, let's get ready for the Saul Show.
All right, everybody.
The hell am I
Movie
doing still
Trivia.
doing here?
Yeah, I don't,
Well,
I don't know,
well,
man.
no,
All right, well, you
you're
know
a
what?
guest.
You're our guest
Well,
tonight. You can stay around for the
Yes,
end
but
of
shut
it.
up. All right, man.
My
Yep,
bad.
that is the end of the Saul Show, and we are coming to the end of the Let's Get Talk Schmoedown podcast show. So let's get it in. Let's get it out. Let's hit it with the plugs. Justin, where people can find you, my brother?
Here, Twitch doing stuff like the tailgate sometimes. Well, it's been very rarely here recently, but playing games. We all play games over there at some points of time, doing random stuff like hang out. Sometimes we'll do watch along here and there, but it is what it is. So go over there, check out the Twitch channel as well. Always like, subscribe over here to YouTube. Don't cost you anything, and just very much would appreciate it getting over there. We've been around the upper 600s for a while. It'd be cool to reach 700. It'd be cool to see that number. So if y'all, get your grandmas over here, let them subscribe. They won't even know you did it. That'd be fine. But other than that, man, that's about it, man. We just have fun with trailer reactions. We do reviews for certain shows. And we may have something in the works behind the scenes that's going to be really cool. I just don't want to announce it yet because we got to get a couple things hashed out. And it's actually somebody that y'all love, somebody that y'all actually love in the community that may be teaming up with me and possibly Fares
Big news.
for a show.
Big, big.
But we can't say anything about it yet.
And not yet.
But
Not
thank you
yet.
guys for
Maybe.
thank everybody for your support. Go ahead, Fares.
Yeah, thank you. Yo, Danny, hit it.
I just want to thank everybody that said they like the Saul Show intro. It was made by me with a lot of heart and soul put into it. So I like it as well. And you can always find me here doing the show with these buffoons right here, sometimes playing games on Twitch. And Shug, your camera makes your head too big. Change that.
Speaking of Shug, where can people find you, my brother?
People can find me at ShugKnight323 on TikTok and Twitter. Also find me on Spin from the Real every Monday with Matt and Chris talking Schmoedown. Also,
Hey, we didn't say you
find
could do that.
Okay. You can
Oh,
find me.
explain it, man. Go ahead. Keep
Oh,
going.
you can find me. You can find me with the lunch break hot take talking about Loki, and also for Chris's sake talking about Loki, and then find me on Twitch doing Shug Knight 1323 playing video games and playing Magic.
To this day, I don't understand why he added the one, but it is what it is. I am one of your hosts, Fares Muthana, the Let's Get Talk Schmoedown podcast. You can find me here every Friday, 8 o'clock. In the coming months, Highlight Sports Show moving to Tuesdays so we can recap Monday Night Football. I'm at Fares Muthana on Twitter. Audio feed. Let's Get Ready podcast. Let's Get Ready Network on all the audio feeds: Radio Republic, Stitcher, Spotify, Apple Podcast, Radio One. You name it, we are there. Just look up Let's Get Ready Network. Also, guys, make sure to like this video on the replay live. Just like it. It doesn't cost you nothing to like. Also, it doesn't cost you nothing to comment. Comment as much as you want. Comment positive stuff as we appreciate it. Trust me.
We don't ask for much.
We don't ask for much, but guess what? You comment, I guarantee you one of us will respond, and we will have a great discourse in those comments.
It's usually me.
It's usually Justin or Danny.
It won't be me.
Probably me, but it is what it is. Justin, hit that outro, my brother.
It's for real. I'm ready.
Hey, Fares, by the way, I think you missed a podcast channel.
Shut up, Fares!
Thank you for watching the Let's Get Ready to Talk Schmoedown podcast. We hope you enjoyed yourself. Make sure to follow the podcast on Twitter, Instagram, YouTube, and Twitch.